Hi everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and I have way too many books. And today I'm going to be discussing some of the plans I have for the very last 3 months of the year in the end of the year book tag. What reminded me to do this tag was that I saw Gemma over at Gemma Books doing this tag the other day, and I could not believe it was already time to do something called the end of the year book tag, because it really doesn't feel like we can possibly be anywhere near the end of the year, but months keep going by so quickly. We are in October, which means we only have 3 months left, less than 3 months left now, of reading for the year. It's always a good time to look back on your reading for the first 3 quarters of the year and think about whether there's anything you need to finish off by the end. So this tag was originally set up by Ariel Bissett, but it does the rounds on YouTube at this sort of time each year. Question 1 is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? I'm not going to ask you to guess, but I think most people could guess what I'm going to say, because not satisfied with having finished one big project this year, the behemoth that was Don Quixote, I started a new big project this year back in August, and that was of course The Count of Monte Cristo. And the plan was to read The Count of Monte Cristo over 2 months, and it was a buddy read with Fraser from Fraser Simon's Springboard Thought and Gemma from Gemma Books, and we agreed to read it over 2 months. Fraser has achieved that and read the book over 2 months. In fact, I think he read it in slightly less than that. Gemma and I have not finished The Count of Monte Cristo yet, and yeah, these tabs indicate every 4 chapters in the latter half of the book, because I was thinking that if I read 4 chapters a day, at one point it was still going to be doable to finish it by the end of September. Of course that didn't happen. Of course it didn't, because it's me. And as you can see, my bookmark is just over halfway through, about page 700. So I am pleased I've read 700 pages of this in 2 months. That's definitely better going than Don Quixote, but I really want to get this finished by the end of the year, because we don't want to risk it becoming another Don. I clearly will never live down how long it took me to read Don Quixote, so I can't let this one take me a year as well. So hoping to finish this by the end of the year. I'm actually hoping to read it by the end of this month, but famous last words, I'm always saying things like that. So we will see when this one gets finished, and that is a big plan. I also have on the go Hamlet, which really shouldn't take me too long to finish, but I would like to get a move on and finish this month. Apart from that, I think everything I've got on the go at the moment is just going to take me a standard amount of time. Question 2 for the tag is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I'm always a bit unsure when I'm reading a book whether it's going to be autumnal, because I don't have any books that look overtly autumnal. I do have a few things that I'm getting autumny vibes from. Firstly of all, I've started reading The Mayor of Casterbridge for October, and I don't know what it is that's giving me an autumn impression, because I don't think this is actually happening in an autumn. But I think Hardy has the potential to definitely write some autumnal stuff. I'm not sure if it will actually be in this book. I think the front could be a bit autumnal colours, and I do have a very cool autumnal bookmark that I found in a bookshop recently. So enjoying having this little owl poking his head out the top of the book. Whether that is autumnal, I do not know. My other autumnal choices are more for the sort of Halloween season, I guess. I've got a couple of vampire things on the go because I have started joining in with the Out of the Coffin Readalong, which is hosted by Ange at Ange's Book Chatter and Amy at Booktube with Amy. I've already read this month Dead in the Family, which was a reread, and I'm now on to the Sookie Stackhouse books that I have never read before. So I've started Dead Reckoning. I think vampires are good to read about in autumn, but I mean, the setting isn't autumnal as such. So Dead Reckoning is on the go at the moment, along with the complete Sookie Stackhouse stories. Now, we haven't seen this volume on my channel before. That is because I purchased it on a trip to the Cotswolds that I had last week. So this will be featuring in a book haul soon, but I actually bought it to replace A Touch of Dead, which doesn't actually have all of the Sookie Stackhouse short stories in it, so it won't add to the TBR because I'm going to swap. But Ange advised me that there was a short story novella length that comes in between Dead in the Family and Dead Reckoning, so I also picked that up. One book I definitely think is going to be good for October is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury was a known lover of October and all things Halloween, and I think this will be the perfect book to read at this time of year. So the next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? And I don't think there is. I'm not actually looking to buy any more brand new books this year. Definitely not that haven't come out yet. I was anticipating the latest Nikki French book, which I can't remember what it's called because I haven't noted it down, but I was hoping that was coming out. I thought it was going to be November, but having looked on the internet this morning, it says it's now March. I also mistakenly thought that the 15th book in Ellie Griffith's Ruth Galloway series was going to be coming out on the 15th of October, but I think that is actually a new special edition of book 1, The Crossing Places, because it will be the 15-year anniversary of that book. So I think I misread what it was going to be. Ruth Galloway 15 is actually out in February, so I'll anticipate it for then, but I can't think of anything else I'm looking forward to the release of this year. So the next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? What don't I want to read by the end of the year? Now, I thought this would be a good time to mention some of my goals that I have not yet really achieved. So the overarching main goal of me this year was to get my giant TBR down to 150. I probably have read enough books this year from the TBR, but unfortunately I've also continued to acquire books, so I have not made it to anywhere near 150 books, and I would have to read 33 books in the next 3 months, and that would be purely from my shelves as well. So it's not looking very likely of making it to that goal, but I may make the goal of reading 52 books from the giant TBR because I have been trying really hard to make sure I read like at least 4 books from the TBR every month. The other thing that I did at the beginning of last year was I made a video of 14 books that were going to self-destruct if I hadn't read them within the year. I put this out quite close to the end of January, so technically I've probably got to the end of January on these, but ideally they would be read by the end of December, and I haven't done hugely well on that list. I have attempted to read and unhauled several of them, and I've read I think 2. I have 8 left that I need to read. I'm not sure how much of that is going to happen, but I would really like to read some of them. One that I might read next month for Non-Fiction November would be Russell Brand's autobiography, My Bookie Work, which is here. So I say I might read it in November. I'm definitely probably going to give this a try in November because I don't have a huge amount of non-fiction on my shelves. If I try it and don't like it, this is going to get unhauled. The other books that are still on that list and still unread are The Last Girl by Jane Casey. Not actually sure about getting to that one. The Rapture by Liz Jensen, which I really would like to read by the end of the year. The Art of Murder by Michael White, which I really would like to try to get to. I do think that this sounds like a great book, and I've put it on a couple of TBRs this year, so I really need to get a move on with that one. Also, Manhattan is My Beat by Jeffrey Deaver. I have 3 Jeffrey Deavers on my shelf. I've yet to try this author, and this is the shortest one. I really need to try and read this. I do not want to unhaul it unread, so I need to get a move on. I'm not so sure about Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. I have given this a try before and got quite bored, so we will see. And we also have Eden Close. I've already tried this in a try a chapter tag and decided not to unhaul it, so I really do need to read it by the end of the year. And I'm reluctant to unhaul this one as well because it's part of a trilogy, and I've read the first book and I really liked the first book, but I don't know why I didn't get past page 80 in this one. Yeah, Shift by Hugh Howey is the other one that I really do need to get read by the end of the year. That was 8 instead of 3, but I would be really happy, to be honest, if I managed to read 3 to 5 of those. That would be great. And we do have 3 months. The next question is there a book you think could shock you and become your favourite book of the year? Definitely. I mean, I would like to think that any book that I read could become my favourite book of the year. I have had a very strong favourite for most of the year, as most of you will know, which is Cloud Cuckoo Land. And I read that quite early on in the year for the Booktube prize, so there is stiff competition. I also really loved Hamnet, which I read last month, so I'm still definitely getting 5-star books that I really love as the year has gone on. It's going to be pretty hard to top those 2 and to top my other favourites such as Fight Night by Miriam Taves. I would hope something can still surprise me for sure. The final question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Of course I have. I'm always making reading plans, literally constantly making reading plans. One of the main plans is my new book club that I'm hosting with Jack at Spread Bookjoy and Gemma at Gem of Books, FOMO Book Club. If you haven't seen my video introducing that, do pop over and watch that, or watch Gem and Jack's videos and come and join us to read some of the books we feel we've missed out on. This will be starting actually in November, but most of the books will be read next year. I will also be continuing to join in with 2 book clubs that I've joined in with this year. One is a read-along of the 6 Tudor Queens books by Alison Weir at the Tudoralong, and this is hosted by Emily at Novell Novels, Gemma at Gem of Books and Danny at Danny's Book World. I think in November we start Anne of Cleves. I think in January it will be Catherine Howard, and in March it will be Catherine Parr. So I'll be continuing with that series with that group. Another book club that I have failed a bit at lately, but I'm definitely still joining in with, is the Killer Reads Thriller Month Book Club, which is hosted by the wonderful AJ over at AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. And AJ has been hosting this all year long, and it goes on for several more years because this book club is to read Penguin's top 60 crime and thriller books of all time. And we've read some good thrillers so far. I need to catch up on the last 3, which I have not yet finished or not yet started in 2 cases. There are definitely some books that I won't reread because I've already read them. I will definitely be joining in with the rest of it because I do want to ultimately read all 60 of these books. Yeah, I also already have at least 5 buddy reads booked in for January onwards. In terms of things I've really enjoyed joining in with and I've got caught up in the hype for this year, I possibly may volunteer to judge the Booktube prize again, but I'm not sure on that one. I only did 1 round last year, and I do like to make things manageable and to keep in mind that I do want to get through books that are on my shelf. So maybe to the Booktube prize, definitely going to be getting caught up in the hype again about the Women's Prize. This has been my favourite prize that I've read books for this year, and I really enjoyed reading the shortlist. Haven't so much enjoyed the shortlist of the Booker Prize so far, but we will see. I haven't finished it yet. And I suppose one of the biggest plans is that I would absolutely love to get the giant bookshelf number closer to 100. And that sounds so far away at the moment with it being at 183. But we have 3 months. We have another whole year. Maybe by the end of next year, I can hope to be closer to 100. I definitely want to be under 150 because that was this year's target. Will I ever have a TBR that is at 0? No. And I don't want to or intend to do that. What I'm looking to do is to make sure that the giant TBR is more reflective of what I actually want to read, because I do feel like there are book series that I've bought too many books from, and there are books that I've acquired when other people have been throwing them out. And the question is, the ones I've had for a really long time, the ones that are in my tin up here, do I really still want to read them? And that is something that I want to address, and I want to get my TBR having more books that excite me on it, basically, which is why I have been buying books this year. It's also nice to have space in your life to read library books and to, you know, explore new releases. So I would like to get the TBR down. I'm not fussed about getting it right down. That is all the questions on this tag, and I think I have probably talked too much about all of them. How about you? How have you been getting on with any reading goals you might have set yourself? Have you got any plans for October, November and December? And what are they? I'd love you to tell me in the comments down below any answers to any of these questions that you might have. If you have enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will hope very much to see you all again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.